everybody. Welcome to Vibing with Sleezy, the podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 7. Today I have special guest Shelby Leigh. Shelby and I go pretty far back, and we've known each other for several years. We've had a lot of good times, and Shelby and I, the thing that's been awesome about our friendship is that she's always a supporter of the podcast. She's always recommended guests. She's actually who got me in connection with Paige, who's been a frequent guest on Vibing with Sleazy. Shout out to Paige. So, thing about it is, I've always wanted to have Shelby on. We actually tried to shoot for Season 1. 2021 was a crazy year for both of us, and trying to get it all synced up. Shelby and I, we always, when we do get together, we have very interesting conversations. We can talk about pretty much anything. And I thought, she would be great for the podcast. And I also, too, wanted to dive in about some of her interests in regarding with, like, TikTok. Because I've been making some TikToks lately, and I noticed that Shelby's been a very big, frequent TikTok user lately. So I kind of want to get her thoughts and feelings on using TikTok, what she likes about it, what she's noticing about it. And also, we'll just dive into a wide range of things and kind of see where the episode takes us. So, Shelby, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming, and it's going to be fun. So, I want to first off start by asking you, so what is your username on TikTok?
It is at LilSpooky222_, and that's just LIL, not the full word, but that's pretty much my name for all my handles, but it's my TikTok handle as well.
I'm actually going to take credit. I believe I started calling Shelby Little Spooky back in the day because of her Halloween, paranormal, witchcraft, everything that she likes. She's just all about the spooky element, so I used to call her Little Spooky, LIL. And so, yeah, she ran with it on her on her names. Yeah, so it's now her rap name. And so she's got the Little Spooky going. So so with TikTok, so what have you been enjoying about it? What do you like about it so much? Because I feel like I've never dove in or took a dive into even talking about TikTok on the show, even with me having one.
Honestly, like when TikTok first came out, so many people were against it. Everyone thought it was really weird, and that it was just like weird teenagers dancing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I downloaded it just out of curiosity, and I realized there was actually really like a large range of things on there that I had no clue about. DIYs, adventures and scenery, cooking, witchcraft, spirituality things, like, pretty much anything you can think of, there was videos of, and a lot of these creators were really awesome and really smart, and they had a lot of information to give out. So I just kind of got really addicted to watching it, and if I was having a bad day, I could scroll in it for a couple minutes, and I'd scroll past some funny stuff, and it would brighten my mood, just that quick satisfaction, I guess. Mm-hmm. But then I started making videos probably about a year ago, and I've slowly been making them more and more just because I get bored and I have fun doing it. I feel like it lets me get out of my element a little bit and like out of my comfort zone. Yeah, so.
I feel that. And that's how, in my regards of TikTok, I like to have fun with it. I like to express myself. I get random ideas. I also sometimes feel like I will pick up ideas or pick up things from random users of TikTok that I might just find on my FYP page, and I'll be like, I can make that better, or I can do that. And it even could be one that has about the same amount of views as somebody that like me. Like, I don't have like tons and tons of views, but I'm saying it's like I'll be like, man, that dude just tried that one. I think I could outdo that one. Now, I will be honest. I think I have dance moves. Now other people may beg to differ.
But turkey costume.
Yeah, the turkey costume. I was rocking it, but there's a lot of things with TikTok that I like doing the dances because it's fun. and it's kind of funny to see yourself like watching it back. And sometimes I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, is that really how it went down?
It
Yeah.
makes me giggle looking at myself. That's one thing I like about it. I just have fun when it comes to recording the videos. Like I don't take myself too seriously because life's too short, and so I just laugh at myself really. And if I like it, I post it. But when it comes to the dancing,
If I like it, I post it.
When it comes to the dancing, I don't dance except for maybe dark places like bars where people can't really see me actually dancing. So. I haven't tried to do those out on
I'll dance
TikTok,
I'll actually dance anywhere. I
dance in the car a lot, but
I'll dance at events. I'll dance at weddings. Like weddings are kind of my go-to dancing. Like I feel like I just let it all out. It don't matter if
you know what? I'm stealing the show.
Yeah.
F your wedding. This is my show now.
And then sometimes it's like, usually at a wedding, like if I, for the past few years, I would just go solo to these weddings, and I'm rolling in these weddings, and it's like when you're solo. You gotta leave that mark. You gotta leave that mark. But now, if you take a date, it don't matter if you're dating or not. If you take a date, even a friend, you got to kind of have. If you're me, you gotta have a pep talk with that date before the wedding and say, listen, you gotta go Captain Phillips. You gotta go. I'm the captain now. You gotta literally look at the date and say, I'm about to tear it up tonight. And I just need you here for support.
Shit's getting real.
Yeah, like I need a hype man. And like you made the call.
Or you're not.
Yeah, you're with it, or we can just end it here at O'Charlie's and just go from there.
The girls who get it. The girls who don't. Period.
Period. And I just like to rock it. And so I will say this about TikTok too. Something that I've noticed too is like it's a good way of meeting people. And
Absolutely.
I've also seen how it's taking people's profiles and their kind of like lifestyle, and has actually broadened their profile, broadened their name. Like for a certain standpoint, like I feel like comedians, I feel like musicians that have maybe a song and they're not signed, which I'll get to a story on that, and I feel like porn. And the reason I bring those three subjects up is this. I have seen so many amateur porn stars arise on TikTok, just popping up on the FYP page, showing how they're trending on Google, all because of TikTok. I've seen a musician talk about the music side of it all. I've seen a musician post today that Atlantic Records called him after releasing just one song, and it had over 100,000 plays, and some A&R discovered it and passed it on. And then when it comes to comedians, I feel like comedians are doing these viral, funny videos, and it's getting so much notoriety. What is that word? What is that word? Not notoriety. Yeah, I'm going blank on the word, but it's like giving them such a platform and audience that they can also promote it to their YouTube page, where they're actually probably making more money off ads and everything.
Plus,
and
the TikTok they have a creator fund. They pay people as well,
which is awesome. So it's like, at my standpoint, those three industries I bring up, I feel like are actually changing the game on TikTok. Because TikTok, if you really think about it, it's somewhere you want to go to laugh.
Yeah.
Number two, it's somewhere where you want to go to listen to music or see how a song can go viral and trendy. And it's somewhere where you want to look at chicks or look at dudes or whatever.
The thirst trap.
Yes, the thirst trap. So that's what sells. That's what sells on those things. And so I feel like TikTok has really evolved on those three platforms, and I think that's going to continue to evolve. But I think TikTok too, it gets negative press back in the day about supposedly where it's platformed at, different things. But I just think it's more fun. I look at it more from a fun aspect.
Hate on it, they still share the reels on Facebook, and it's TikTok videos disguised as Facebook videos.
I can't. So that's
they like it regardless.
So that's a big pet peeve of mine that about. I have a friend. I'm not going to call him out because he does listen to the show, but he, I don't think he'd be offended. But the thing about it is, the reason I want to say this is he always be sending me the videos, the Facebook reels.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I feel like the Facebook reels are a year out of date.
Yes.
Dude, I'm seeing all this new shit on Instagram and TikTok. Bro, you're sending me content I saw 6 months ago.
You're back in 2020. I'm in 2020.
Get off the Facebook reel and quit.
And update to TikTok.
He thinks because he's over the age of 35 now that TikToks for kids. It's not.
Absolutely. No, you have to be, you're supposed to be a certain age to even have the apps. It's not supposed to be for children.
Uncle Drew's got a TikTok. Or not Uncle, Dr. Drew. I just saw that recently.
Uncle Drew.
Not Uncle Drew. Dr. Drew. I've seen all these older people.
It's meant for people, teenagers, young adults, older people. I've seen people of all ages.
Oh, there's the old.
And the thing is that there's a category and a subcategory for anybody and everybody. And there's so much information and videos out there that, and the more you like of the things, the more videos you like of the things you like, it accustoms your For You page to things that you enjoy to watch.
You want to hear something crazy?
The algorithm is amazing.
What's that gay dating site? Where do gay people do the
Grindr?
Grindr. So here's the thing with Grindr. So the thing about Grindr is this. So this is crazy. So Grindr discovered 4 gay men that are old. And they're called the old gays. I'm a big fan of the old gays.
They're on TikTok.
I'm a straight male, but I'm super supportive of LGBTQ.
And comfortable.
And I'm very comfortable with my sexuality, and I'm very comfortable, and I think the old gays are amazing. Like, I love anybody expressing themselves. It don't matter, gay, straight or not. I just think they're awesome. So, but what's cool about their story is that Grindr, a dating app for, I guess it's gay men.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was for both. I didn't know if it was for both. In general. Okay, I didn't know. I've never used it. But the thing about it is,
talked about with gay men,
but I think but those 4 were discovered through that app, and now that app's sponsoring them, and they do all these things. They get costumes from Drew Barrymore show, so. It's interesting how you also see all these, because you just brought it up here in a minute ago, all these co-partnering brands and brands wanting to sponsor TikTok stars and TikTok ideas. It gave me chills hearing that guy, this singer-songwriter who's fucking 25 years old, get this phone call from Atlantic Records.
Right.
And they were
and you knew that was life-changing for him.
And what's hilarious is he was so humble. He says on the phone, he goes, I got to call into work before I come to New York for the meeting. And then the lady on the phone, right at the end, goes, I don't think you'll be working much longer. I don't think you'll be working much longer. And then she hangs up the phone. It was cold-blooded. She's I'm going to seal the deal. Now, I know record labels can be a piece of shit, especially in the rap industry. I went to music school. I learned music business. Record deals aren't always the way to go. Sometimes just staying independent is the way to go. Shout out to Young Dolph, rest in peace. But it's the thing about it is, I will say this though, for people like that, and that's someone that's kind of I feel like I'm in their shoes in that regards of I feel if that opportunity came, I'm definitely signing the dotted line, because that's huge. That's life changing, especially when I felt him on I gotta make sure I still got my gig, because I gotta fucking eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so it was cool to see that.
Still think about his priorities.
Yeah, and he wasn't, and I think too, at first he was kind of holy shit,
this can't be real.
This is almost like a joke,
Right.
So I'll tell you something, a little spooky. So here's something crazy. So not to probably subjects, but talking about someone not believing things. So I don't know if I ever shared this story. So I got to go to meet Drake back in probably early 2010-ish.
Awesome.
And he was super cool. He was at a studio with about 20 people. It's Ocean Way Studios in Nashville. He was super late. His flight was super late. He limped in. That was right when he hurt his leg during the Young Money concert.
Yeah.
So he's limping. 40, his producer comes. He's super cool, tells his whole story. But what's wild is, Drake never believed that. So the way he got invited by Lil Wayne this is how it went down. Drake would go to the same barbershop in Toronto, all the time in Ontario, and he'd go get his haircut, and this guy would always come to the barbershop and be like, oh, I know Lil Wayne. Drake always thought he's full of shit. He's this guy he don't know anything,
right.
Whatever. So then Drake starts releasing music, drops a mixtape, really, really pushing himself, but he's still up in Canada doing his thing. He gets a call, so that dude, I guess, gets a call from Wayne, and Drake's in the barber chair getting his haircut, and the dude hands hands him the phone and was like, "This is Lil Wayne. He wants to talk to you."
No,
And Drake's like, "Get
no
the fuck
shit.
out of here, man." He's like, "This ain't Lil Wayne." So Drake puts the phone on. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And the guy was like, "Hey, what's up? This is Dwayne." And it was Lil Wayne. And he's like, "This is Dwayne Carter. Like, how you doing?" Like, and
That's
Drake
so wild.
and Drake was like, Drake's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Right.
So he hung up. Next thing you know, the dude's like, "That's really Lil Wayne." So he calls back up, and Lil Wayne's like, "Man, what, you don't believe me?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, I'm gonna fly you down to Houston." So then he flew him down to Houston that next day, and it was on after that.
That's so
But
wild.
ain't that wild that it's crazy to think, number one, all the connections out there. Because if you just cool and keep it real, the richest people fuck with even the lowest of lows. And so I thought that was so cool. Lil Wayne still fucking with somebody like has homies up there. And then also I felt like sometimes you always look at maybe the crazy person or the person that doesn't seem to have it together. Sometimes people be looking down on that person but not realizing they got some shit in their pocket.
Right, they got some hidden stuff.
Yeah, there's some people that are still thrift shopping for clothes but got bankrolls. Like, I read some story like on Reddit, or it was like some YouTube video about crazy stories or something, but there was supposedly some guy that like did the same thing every day. Like, ate a sandwich, like had an egg, like lived in this little tiny apartment, all this stuff, and then when he dies, he's like worth like over $2 million, and he has like all this money in the bank, and it's like, why? Like, nobody knew why he was doing these things, and so there's like a lot of like, there's
so weird.
Ain't there a lot of crazy mysteries in the world?
There is. There are so many mysteries in this world. Some that are just never going to be explainable, honestly. And the spiritual world is something that we have barely began to discover about, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I think there's a lot of mysteries, not only in the spiritual world, but also in the realm of like just life in general.
Absolutely.
Like, and there's a lot of things that like I think about. Like, this actually happened today, and this is no shit. So this episode is gonna come out on Friday, the 7th. But today we're recording on Tuesday night, and this is some real shit that happened today. So I'm actually working at my job, and this old man, and I'm not going to share his info because he probably don't want his info shared, but I'll change his name up. We'll call him Daniel Burbank. So Daniel Burbank, which that is not even close to this guy's name. Daniel Burbank came in today. And every time he comes in, he's about 74 years old, very long-winded. He's had 2 heart attacks. He tells you every time. He's very out of breath. He's very, like, just out of it kind of deal. But you can tell, I learned today that he had lost his wife.
Aww.
So I could tell he's, like, lonely, needs somebody to talk to. So I let him talk. I had phone calls. Every time I just be like, hey, hold on, sir, Mr. Buckman. Or whatever I just named him, and I was like, Burbank, Mr. Burbank, and then next thing you know, I like look at the phone, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll take your payment. So I'm like doing the payment, and I'd be looking at him, and he'd be like, I still got something to tell you. So he's like really eager for me to get off the phone each time. So he's showing me like a car he bought, and he's showing me like what he used to own, and like all this stuff. So he's going on and on. Well, then out of nowhere, this is where it gets real. This is where the mystery of life I'm trying to figure out about your boy, Eric, right here, Sleezy E, is that I'm trying to figure out why people want to tell me shit. Number 2 things. Tell me the craziest shit I've ever heard, or they want to tell me some shit that's not going to let me sleep at night. Like, it's not going to, like, I'm not going to be able to, like, really, like, I'm trying to process, is this reality? And this is where I start processing, like, where the fuck am I really at right now? Like, am I on a planet?
Space.
Yeah, am I an alien? Like, so there's just a lot of things. But here's the thing. Let me tell you about this though. So this guy looks at me today and he says, I want to tell you something. And I said, okay. And he's like, I have been struck by lightning.
Oh.
And he's like, once.
Boy.
And then immediately when he said that, I immediately pictured him as the Benjamin Button character. There's a guy in the Benjamin Button movie that gets electrocuted like 12 times and survives the whole movie. And every 20 minutes in Benjamin Button. By the way, Benjamin Button's my second favorite movie of all time. Shout out to Curious Case Benjamin Button. It's long as fuck. If you got time, just it's worth it. They show this dude getting electrocuted 20 different times every 20 minutes on Benjamin Button. So here's what's fucking crazy. So I'm pitching this motherfucker as Benjamin Button. Next thing you know, though, this is where it gets crazier. He's like, I was a landscaper. And he's like, and I had this guy that would work with me. And he called me daddy.
Oh.
And I said, why'd he call you daddy? Because I'm definitely going to try to find out what the hell's going on. And he's like, well, he was like my son. And I was like, okay, that's cool, man. I was like, where's the story going? And he's like, listen, dude. He's like, I'm at this nursery buying landscaping products 11 years ago. And he's like, I grabbed something and I didn't realize it was electric. And he said, I fucking shot back and he said, fucking flames looked like they shot out of my hand. He said, I went in the nursery office and the whole nursery office said they had never seen anything and they can't believe he was alive. Here's the thing that's crazy. He shook it off. Didn't go to the hospital, didn't get treated. This is what's absolutely bizarre. And it gives me chills. I have goosebumps right now. He goes, ever since that's happened, he goes, I have electricity in my body. And I said, no, you don't. And I said, are you crazy, man? He goes, no, you don't understand. He goes, any computers I'm around, he says, I can automatically just turn them off with all this electricity in me. He goes, I can't go anywhere and ring out. He goes, so I have to have my nephew do all the online shopping for me. I said, what are you talking about, man? I said, I got two computers right here on. Out of nowhere, they both just automatically just turn off. Ooh. I looked at him, I said, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? I said, what's going on? He goes, I'm telling you. He talks my ear off every time he's in there. This is the first time he's ever told me. He goes, I'm full of electricity, man. He goes, you want me to do that? Then he starts feeling bad. This is how I believe him. Right. He says, I'm so sorry about your computers, man. He goes, I do this everywhere. He's just beating himself up. Yeah. I said, no. I said, you're not going there. I said, no. I said, you don't have to beat yourself up, man. I'm not mad at you. I said, you got a gift. I said, you're like electric boy. Right, like, and I said, but you're
like give people power, like if they're dying, you know, like a jolt.
He's like body. A fucking superhero. Mm-hmm. And so it's weird. And then he looks at me and he goes, I'm really sorry for talking your ear off today, Eric. He goes, I just had to share that story with you. And I said, thanks, man. I sat there for 35 minutes. I couldn't move.
He was petrified.
I was just shocked. I was like, oh my gosh.
Mind blown.
I was mind blown, but here's what's also weird. We have this wall speaker that you turn on, and you can talk into it, and it used to be an intercom for the front gate.
Right.
Well, we got rid of those intercoms because we didn't want these fuckers yelling at us to the fucking intercom. So I got rid of the intercom. So the intercom is just set up in the wall in the office, and all it does, it's just decoration.
Right. It does nothing. Serves no purpose.
And what's wild is that out of nowhere, it's like I just today after he left, that speaker that I had turned the volume down just starts shooting off and starts just making like weird noises and like crazy noises. And, hey, what's up, everybody? We're back. I'm sorry about that. I had to take a break. Had an emergency at my work. My boss was calling multiple times. I work at a storage facility, and we had some people locked in, so we had to get them out of there. And I was like, man, she calls that many times. I knew something was up. But back to what I was saying about the speaker. So, and we were really flowing. So I want to get back onto this. So the electric man, after he left, that speaker that had been turned off with no volume, randomly just starts making noises and starts coming on.
That's just so crazy.
And it blew my mind because I just was like, I have just met the electric man.
Right.
Like, and here's the thing. Here's the thing that's crazy. Let me ask you this. I want to get your opinion. What if he killed somebody, got a sentence to the electric chair,
And all it did was power him up more.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then out of nowhere, his head exploded and it turned into a Duracell battery.
You got me on that part. I was with you till the end.
He's got like a little plus logo.
Battery.
There's like a little plus logo right there at the top. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" This little plus logo. So, yeah, but no, it just that blew my mind. So there's just a lot, but there is a lot of mysteries that I feel like every day I'm still trying to solve and I'm still trying to figure out. And you never will, you know. And it's like there's so many questions that I got. Is there any mysteries that like blow your mind that you've ever or that you came across here lately?
Oh man, if you only knew the rabbit hole of things that I go through, that I watch and research. I'm really into anything supernatural, cryptids, and conspiracy theories. But that's my secret one. It's like my secret hobby, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I've been really into conspiracy theories lately, though. There's this one that I feel like there's just too many people that talk about it for it to not be a thing. But it's about this cryptid creature, and it is called a Wendigo.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of people will hear about them like down south, you know, like more in like the desert areas. But these are actually based in the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay.
And a lot of people, I've seen so many videos on TikTok, especially people who live there. If you look in the woods at night, you didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Don't run. Just ignore it. Pretty much don't give it any type of acknowledgement at all, because these things are like very much known of in their community.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of gone through the deep end with that one. Been thinking about that a lot lately.
I hear you.
Nothing really mysterious in my life per se has happened, maybe. Just witchy stuff, I guess. The normal.
Yeah, I just feel like I just have a lot of people they share crazy stories with me, and I'm like, and I like it, but it's like sometimes I'm like, this is mind blowing.
Right.
Like, it just makes me speechless. Like I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like I've like interacted with more ghosts than what I think I've interacted with.
Right.
Like, here's the thing that's interesting to me, and I don't know. My boss thinks I'm crazy, so like part time I do house showings and do real estate rentals and all that stuff, and so I got a lot of properties in Old Louisville, and I go and I like meet people and like show them the properties, and I've had so many like weird paranormal moments at these houses. Like I had one house I'll never forget. It's Lear Court. It's somewhere in the South End, and like I was in the house and all the doors closed, and like this horrible odor started just arise through the whole house and freaked me out. Freaked the tenants out that were there. I've had other encounters where like I shared this on one episode back in season 1. But I had a maintenance man overdose in one of my rentals in the bathroom, and when I went there to pick up the keys and lockbox, the power was off to the house. But I looked in the window, and the only lights on were the bathroom.
Crazy.
Freaked me the fuck out. Like every time I was in that house, I'd throw up when I leave, and I'd also hear someone doing a 40-yard dash above my head, like upstairs, like and so it just got to a point where I always would I just felt very uneasy, and I felt very like, I don't know, I just felt nervous, yeah, and uncomfortable.
Right, something wasn't right.
Yeah, something wasn't right, and that house, but also something I've realized. I had this moment when I was at the Brown Hotel. The only time I've ever been in the Brown Hotel, I go upstairs, I've been to the Brown Theater, but at like the hotel, I never stayed there until Corey Williams had his wedding. And the night he wanted all the groomsmen to stay at the Brown for the wedding the next morning on Friday night. So it's dope, historic fucking hotel. We got like a suite, doing it big. We're all getting fucked. Yeah, it's beautiful. We're getting fucked up, but it's extremely hot. So
Extremely.
I go downstairs to get more Bud Light, and
That's your mistake going downstairs in the Brown Hotel.
Well, I go down and I make it to the lobby, and I get beers, and I get on the elevator, okay? Now, we're on, like, the top floor of the Brown, and I'm going to be honest, I don't remember the number. It could be 16th floor, possibly. So, as I'm going up the elevator, I'm in flip-flops, Jordan shorts, an undershirt, and I probably haven't shaved in 3 days. And I at that time I was not doing the beard thing. So I'm just chilling, real young, and out of nowhere, the elevator stops on the second floor. And I'm like, I'm going up.
Right,
I'm going up, and there's 2 elevators.
Get your own elevator.
This couple walks on. They look like they are literally from, let's say,
1930.
Yeah, 1920, 1930, more 1920ish. Almost felt like I was in the elevator with Charlie Chaplin, who Charlie Chaplin actually horrified me as a kid. Not now, but as a kid, I had this horrible fear of Charlie Chaplin. My parents said I would have nightmares, I'd scream.
It's a little bit creepy.
Yeah, and but here's the thing that's weird. She gets on, his wife, she's in this outfit. They literally look like they just left a 1920s mafia dinner, speakeasy something. I look at them and I have a 6-pack of Bud Light in my hand and I go, "How y'all doing?" They look at me, don't smile, don't say nothing, and don't say a fucking word.
What?
So immediately my nipples get hard and immediately I get goosebumps because that's what happens when I get scared. I every time I know it's real or I'm right now, I'm gonna be honest, I have goosebumps and my nipples are hard. If I recant a story, I literally get that it brings those chills back every time. And this story gives me chills because here's what's fucked up. They want to go up from the second floor. They go up, but they press the button below my floor. So I'm on the top floor. They want to go to the second to last floor.
Weird.
The elevator opens. The woman doesn't look at me at all. She continues walking. He looks back at me. And I swear to you, almost like he wants to give me a good jab. And I want to jab him. Because I'm you didn't say shit to me, dude.
Right,
but I'm looking at him what are you looking at? And he just looks at me. And he walks off, and they hold hands, and she has a little purse, and they walk down the hall. And as the elevator doors are shutting, 7 seconds goes by, and I stop the elevator door, and I look out. They're gone. I get back up to the floor. I tell all the guys, the whole groomsmen party, and they think I am completely drunk and out of my mind, and I'm not.
You're not.
I will never forget that. Literally.
Right.
Feel the goosebumps on my arm.
Goosebumps galore.
Insane.
There's a couple of things that make me feel that way as well.
And here's the thing that's crazy about that. That was at the Brown Hotel, and that moment just made me realize, they say, I don't know the exact stats, so people listening that, and I know that I have some avid listeners that actually do send in when they have, anybody wants to fact check me, I will say there is supposedly a fact of that, we all, as human beings, will all interact with at least 3 serial killers, in our life. I don't know the exact number. It might be 5, but they say that on average, we all will interact with at least 3 because you could. What do you mean? Oh, I was like, what? I was scared. So no, I'm just saying though, it's very, it's just very crazy to like hear that fact. But then it starts making me wonder, how many ghosts are we on average do we interact with? And it's like, think about this too.
15.
And what I was getting about by my showings in Louisville, I feel like sometimes I've shown guest properties,
Yeah.
and they're not a real person. They're a ghost.
And they're just like browsing about.
Yeah, and they're interacting with me. And then people that I've shared this with are like, Eric, how would they know about the showing? Here's what's weird. It's never when I have a set appointment. It's always an open house. It's someone that I don't have their information.
Right.
But it's also like, how do they know about the open house? And they're also their attire, personality.
It's just off.
Off. I feel weird energy. And I swear to you, I feel like I've at least, and I sound probably crazy, I feel like I've shown at least 3 to 5 ghosts a house in the past 3 years.
Take a look at this nice pad. Let's stay here a while. Be the house ghost.
Man.
Open up some cabinets. Do something for once. Traditions.
At PT Strip Club in the back, I've seen him twice. The Marlboro Man. So the Marlboro Man was a character played by, going blank on his name, but he's in Miami Vice. Marlboro Man was basically like, he smoked cigarettes and had the cowboy hat, looked like the logo. So there's a guy that looks like the Marlboro Man with that type of hat that paces back and forth in the VIP section of the PT Strip Club area. And I've seen him twice, and I'm not the only one. Many people have seen him. There's a lady in white too. And the more I've explored places like that in like downtown Louisville, Louisville has so much history. I look at so many photos online of the University of Louisville has this historic archive of all these cool Louisville photos you can just look at. You can look at all the different neighborhoods, everything. And it blows my mind how crazy some of them, like how historic, but also how many things are built on top of things.
Don't quote me on this, but
yes.
I've heard recently that Waverly has been taken by the government from the owners. And a couple other places in Kentucky that are haunted, that are larger haunted areas have been seized by the government. Like I said, don't quote me on that. That's just hearsay of what I've heard. But I mean, there's definitely some weird supernatural energy stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy how they just seize a haunted place. Like, what's so special about it? What's there? You know, like.
And the thing of, and I don't know. Like, the last time I was at Waverly, I met the actual owner, and this is probably like 3 to 4 years ago with Leo, and I got invited. They gave me a tour of Waverly. We ate pizza. A cat actually sat on my pizza, pissed me the fuck off.
Damn cat.
Like, literally just sat on it. We're like in this video room. Like, we're in the laundry room of Waverly. And they have all these security monitors everywhere. And they bring us pizza. And they show us this crazy Waverly documentary movie that they've made that's not been released to the public.
Right.
It's scary as fuck. And I'm sitting there like eating this pizza in the laundry facility. And out of nowhere, the door opens up behind the owner. It's only 20 of us. It's 20 of us from the press. And out of nowhere, this fucking cat, I had 2 slices of pizza. Thank God I had ate one. Because all pizza's gone at this point. Cat just walks all the way back. Just walks in the fucking laundry room. No one asked him. No one knows where the fuck he came from. Walks all the way back. Gets on top of the table where I'm sitting. Looks at me. And sits on top of my pizza.
What a jerk.
And just stares at me. And so I just pet him for like 10 minutes. And I was like, you fucking like that pizza? I'm talking shit to him.
Yeah.
And he just looking at me. And I at that point, I had lost 2 family members in Waverly. So Waverly is like a very interesting place for me, like energy wise. And the thing that was like very crazy was that like on the side of Waverly, like on the far side, it's actually a hazard. Like they said, if the way the ground and it's not touching, it could completely slide down. But here's another crazy fact the owner told me, and this is from the owner's mouth. If the government took it, I know it's no longer his, but he was an old man when I met him. He said that every day, 365 days a year, every single day, someone is breaking into Waverly Hills.
Absolutely, I believe that.
Every single day, 360 days, it doesn't matter the weather, they're catching somebody. That's why they have 24/7 security.
I used to stay there for weeks at a time. We knew the security guards back when he was in his 20s. Him and his cousin would stay there, and they'd camp out inside and just explore and just feel the energy and experience the stuff. Had crazy stuff happen to them.
It's pretty. To be honest with you, it's pretty crazy to like how much history and how much death and like how much what really went down, and there's so much like betrayal in that building. There's the affair of the doctor and nurse upstairs. Like there's so much, and us talking about mysteries and conspiracies. I feel like there's probably 10 plus conspiracy and 10 plus mysteries about that building that
Absolutely.
we don't know at all. That we really don't. Like we haven't processed that.
It would be so cool to just go back and be a fly on the wall just for a little bit.
Yeah, I think it would be something. I think it would be something special, and what I mean by that is in regards of like, it would be a special moment to be able to see history, no matter what time.
Yeah.
But it also sometimes it's like some of the things that I learn about history blow my fucking mind. And like
It's
make
like,
me like thank God that I don't live during those times. Like
right.
like I've heard so many awful things. Like there is some of the craziest shit I've heard in history is that like one thing that was crazy was that there was like this punishment. It was like in either Portugal or Spain where they would just put a prisoner that got like sentenced to life. Like they would put him in a cell, like I guess down in the basement or the bottom of this area, and then literally just not feed them or drink and just pour all the people just shit and pee and just would go down.
My God.
And it was just like literally like this horrible torture. And it's like all these things that like I learned in history, it just makes me wonder. It's like, why are humans the way they are? Like it's so stupid. We are so twisted, and it's one of these things where some of the shit that I hear and some of the shit I say is like I say these stories because it's like I just can't believe they're actually real. Like I can't believe, just slavery in general. I can't believe how all the rape and torture. I read about these local things that have happened here in Louisville between like families and like how people have betrayed each other and killed people. Like I read recently, and this blew my mind in history. Like there was two brothers, and I think I said this on maybe a recent podcast episode, but it just blew my mind that this happened. That it was two brothers, and they went to Vietnam, and one brother killed the other brother to marry his wife.
Oh my gosh.
And she fell for it and everything, and nobody knew until he died. Like it was like a deathbed confession, and it's just crazy to think what some people do end up confessing when it's like at that point. And it's also like what made them hold it for that long.
Right.
Confess then.
People are the mind is complex, honestly, and people are weird. They're really weird. I can't even.
Yeah, I mean it's not you're speaking facts because it's one of these things where I feel like a lot of times, I don't know, people just don't make sense to me, and some of the things that just I don't know, some people's just behaviors are just it is interesting, but the brain, what you bring up is very interesting from the standpoint that like the brain is so complex, and we just like there's so many parts of it that we don't even use, which is crazy to think about.
Like we only use a portion of it. I mean, I don't even want to know what we would be capable of.
But also too, that's one thing that I don't think we're clearly never going to be able to know how to use all that part of our brain because we can't. But it's also like if we did have the power, it makes you wonder if like mental health would never be an issue.
I wish that could be the thing. because mental health is a large thing nowadays with people, and
It's a battle.
definitely.
It's a battle. It's a struggle, and it's it's definitely something people definitely deal with. And what's crazy talking about just mental health in general. The Office. Did you ever watch The Office?
Yeah, I watched it a little bit.
So I love The Office, and I did not realize they had such a dark moment in that show. And it was kind of about mental health, and to be honest, I was like, yikes. So Michael was told that he needed to start reading what was in the suggestion box. He had a suggestion box that corporate was making him do. So they go in and reach in to grab like suggestions, and his boss comes down and forces him to read all these suggestions out loud. And he's getting taken on personal, of course, because it's Michael.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, he reads one, and the guy's like, "I wish I had a suggestion for more mental health services." And the next thing you know, he's like, "Whatever happened to that guy? That guy was really weird." And then Phyllis is like, "He shot himself 2 months ago." And Michael never read the suggestions. So it's like, it's almost kind of, and then they just completely pass it by. But it just made me wonder. I'm just like, man, that was dark. Like
that.
No
one even noticed it.
Yeah, and then I didn't even realize that guy, was a character. It's like it's crazy. Like
that's so crazy.
Yeah. So, but I saw that recently in The Office, and I'm just like man, like mental health's pretty important. Like Office,
It is important.
I love The Office, but I was like, man, I did not realize they had poked that bear or went there. So what else has been going on that you feel like you are excited for 2022? Anything excited like that you're ready to do?
Yeah, I'm just excited to keep creating more content on TikTok. I think I'm going to start doing more makeup for my friends and family, something that I really am passionate about, and then I'm just going to try to keep continuing college. I'm in school at Mid-America School of Mortuary Science, and I just want to change the funeral business a little bit. I'm looking forward to 2022. 2021 definitely was not nice to me, but I'm going to make 2022 my bitch.
I hear you.
Sure.
I hear you. And sometimes you have to do that. I did that like back in like 2019. I remember it was like in January, and I was just like, I'm gonna make this year my bitch, and I really did. That year, I felt like I really got to conquer a lot of stuff, do a lot of things I wanted, and it was also kind of a year where, and sometimes it's hard to get in that mindset, but it was one of those years where I just didn't give a fuck. I was like, fuck it, I'm doing me, and sometimes it's good for you, and it was good, and I felt very healthy about it, but sometimes you have to also recenter, realize, bounce, and realize you still do need people. You still got to realize, think things out. So, but it was, it's good to make a year your bitch, and it's really good. I think I talked about this in the last episode. It's I feel like mentally, we as humans, is we're so addicted, not addicted, but we're so used to the calendar and time and all that. It's with the calendar. With it starting a new year, it really is a fresh start.
Absolutely.
And that's the way everybody should look at it. Rip off the Band-Aid. It's brand new. And you kind of got to do what you want. And I feel like the older I'm getting, the more I the less I regret. And the more I'm trying to strive for and do and achieve things. Because I look at a lot of the old people that come into my work, and I'm like, man, they're fucking exhausted.
Right.
And I get it. I get it. I'm not judging them, but I'm saying I have time to be exhausted when I'm that old. And if I'm that exhausted, I'll be that exhausted. But right now, I'm not that exhausted, and I want
take
to
advantage of it.
Want to take advantage of it. I get mentally exhausted just after this past month of just all the ups and downs. That can really get you. But at the same time, there's been a lot of positives, and I do feel like I can grab the bull by its horns and really take that strive to do what I get back to that point. I don't know.
I have faith in you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I have faith in you as well. And so I just I I don't know. I just think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff like this year. I feel like I don't know. I feel good about this year. Like, I feel like 2021 was just a mysterious year because we really didn't even know what was going to happen.
And it went by so fast.
It went by very fast. It was almost like a whirlwind. Like, to think that everything that had happened, and man, it's crazy. So I had just recently got, I think I mentioned on the last show, but I recently got a Hyundai, and I said it was a Sonata. It's actually an Elantra. I didn't even realize the car. I looked down at the floor mats.
It's a TA, whatever.
Yeah, and I was banked, and I looked down at the floor mats, and I was like, oh, I've been saying the wrong car. But it's fun. It's like, I'm used to SUV. I feel like, though, I'm in a go-kart right now sometimes, which I like, but it's like, I'm like whipping it.
It's a little car.
Yeah, I do. I feel so large in that thing. And
it's a pretty cool car, though.
Thank you. And I had the windows were frosted up like this morning, and it took me forever because I couldn't find my scraper. And so I get it like halfway, and I realize I'm so low already that I had to like almost like be like the turtle man, that old I'm turtle of the club, and I'm like got my shoulders all up, and I'm like driving out of my apartment. I'm like bent down like that just for it to frost. So sometimes I do feel like a go-kart, and then I look at the semis, I'm like, they're way taller than me now. Like,
you need to preheat your car.
I do, man. I just couldn't. I didn't get down there that early. I was running slow this morning, so I had to go and like actually suffer the climate of what was going down. So what is all right? Before we wrap up this episode, what is 3 things that you want to achieve in 2022?
3 things that I want to achieve in 2022. I would like to become stable financially.
Okay.
And exceed my goals financially.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to figure out maybe some sort of direction of my life, in which way I want to take it, and just to really enjoy life's moments and my people in my life, my friends and family, not take everything for granted, you know?
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say I definitely want to not only finish season 2 of this podcast, but I want to continue doing it, and I want to, have another season. I always take a little break between seasons, but I feel like I could at least get a couple seasons under my belt. So that's something I definitely want to try to conquer and just keep doing it, and like not stop or ever give up on the idea, and like kind of see what other ideas can come with it. Number 2, I definitely want to travel more from the regards, and I know people say that, but it's like there's a lot of places that I clearly want to see. Like, just a lot of things I want to see, and I just think about it. And I'm like, man, there's just so much.
I'm thinking about a camper bus.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Just to do it.
That'd be dope. And then like 3rd thing, I think goal wise is to, I guess you would say, probably definitely conquer. I guess you would say like more of like doing things that like I haven't got to do or like try. Like, I guess being more open-minded and more like it's more spontaneous, and like I've always been very spontaneous, and I've always been that type of person. But I want to see just what more is out there, and like just keep trying new things and going to different places and like eating different things. Like, I want to I feel like I already sometimes get in that traditional mindset where it's like go to work, then I have this time to do this and stuff like that. I don't want to feel that way, and I haven't felt stuck, and I don't want to get to that point where I feel that way. So that's why I feel like with this year, if I continue breaking through those boundaries, those situations, it's like I won't feel that way when I have to go to work 9 to 6 and do the regular things. Like, I can look forward to different things outside the box. So, but those are probably a few of my goals. But other than that, I just want to say thank you for being on the show. Had a lot of fun talking to you, catching up. I feel like you have a lot of good ideas and like things that come to your mind. I feel like you're very goal oriented and motivated for this year. I'm glad we've reconnected. And so everybody that's been listening to the show, I want to thank everybody. Everybody that's still continuing to download and listen on all platforms, and that's really been, tuning in and all the feedback and the random people that do listen. Like, it makes me very happy to hear these people, and like when I hear people recognize the show or know the show, it means the world to me. So, babblingwithsleazy@gmail.com if you want to reach out. Babbling with Sleazy, the podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Definitely go follow, like, hit me up. I'll be making posts about this, and this episode will come out Friday, January 7th. But yeah, if you have been listening to the show, I'm going to have more guests. I've been working on a few. I'm hoping I'm going to say it to manifest it. That's something that Paige, my former guest, has said. Jason Downey, somebody I look up to, a local legend. I ran into him recently. I was running one of his places and trying to get him on. He's a really just a cool dude, and like he's just done a lot for the city and a lot for the Black Lives Matter movement. So there's definitely people I'm continuing to strive on. I love having friends on like this episode. I love having people on that I can just vibe with and kick it. That's the whole point of the show. I want everybody to learn something, take something away. So everybody, thank you for listening, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.